Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale. We're on Yak's Band with a fantastic show for you. The latest Guild Wars 2 video ad irritates some players. Discussion of top Guild Wars 2 streamers not playing anymore. And we make our Winter's Day wish list and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, did you know, chat, every time a gem is purchased, an Age gets his stealth? Say hello to Age.
Oh, that's some good perma stealth. What's up, guys? Yo, could we make that a thing, please? That'd be so good. Like even if I'm not on Thief, that'd be amazing. I would love that. Please.
There you go. We already know what's on Age's Winter's Day wish list.
Oh, that'd be so good.
And she writes for MMORPG.com and also her own site, MMORly.com. Instead of hearing your family roar at each other, why not hang out with her as we talk about all the stuff? Say hello to Robin.
Hi.
All right, let us jump right into it. Well, first off, this past week, they released a marketing video, which a lot of people, if you've visit the forums, and I think we talked about it, if this is 152, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. They put it on the forums and were like kind of asking for feedback. And people gave their feedback, and this was kind of the result. I have the videos here. I can show you the first one is actually the original one that they showed us. It's a little bit longer, but the other ones, I think this one reigns in at about a minute and a half or so. The other ones are 30 seconds apiece. So they seem very commercial. They're the size for a commercial, like a 30 seconds quick spot type thing.
Yeah. Like a little teaser kind of thing.
I was gonna say, chat's asking, did they screw up the marking again? A lot of people do feel that way. And I would love to hear your guys' opinions on it. But yeah, there's been a lot of irritation from some players feeling that the marketing is bad or that they weren't heard in the discussion of the feedback from this original video. And I think some of the original feedback, if I'm not mistaken, was the personal quotes, it was kind of out of context. I think those were kind of like the biggest concerns out of there.
I mean, it's just weird. Like, this is what I was saying before. Like, it's cool for the people who got their quotes up there to be featured like that. Because when do most people have a thing, like, have the opportunity to be in a trailer for a major game? Like, right. But at the same time, like, for anybody who's not those people, who doesn't know those people, just random person, it seems really weird. It's like, okay, who are these people? Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, right now you're watching the original one. Here's the actual player quote one. Like I said, it's only a 30-second spot, but it seems like it has a lot less of the quotes. But like I said, it feels like they had to have it. So
yeah. Well, and the other thing that I mentioned is quote trailer things. To me, at least, they work best when you have lots and lots of quotes where you're just firing up things. You have maybe like a couple of short things at the same time, whatever, so that it feels like there's a lot in there. And like the way they did it, it gives each quote more of a prominence, but it also feels like, all right, so 5 people are talking about this game. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I see some bit saying this is a standard thing in the past, but I don't remember players in particular having quotes like
critics, this. Yeah, but not players. That's a weird thing.
They did have a critics 30-second feature as well.
Which, since you're talking about it, we do have it here. It's basically the same footage, but it has the critics talking instead of player quotes. Go ahead.
The thing is, I don't think they need that first part of like, here's what fans or critics are saying. Like, that part should just not be there. Like, people should know right away. Like, if it's quotes that's coming in, it should be a critic quote. But I guess for the fan one, it makes sense.
Yeah, the fan one, it would be even weirder without that, because then people would really be like, who are these people? What is this?
Yeah, the critic one was a little bit better because you have names like PC Gamer and stuff like that. So like you know the sites like that. I didn't like the longerish quotes, I guess, because in those types of videos you want them to be like short quotes, like easy to read quotes. If they kind of span 2 lines, it's kind of a bit too long. But I think in that case they should have stuck with the critic one. They should have prioritized that one over the fan one.
Well, I mean, that was their thing, was they kind of wanted to use the audience as their advertisement, the player base as their advertisers. And I think that's, the important thing to note. Like, honestly, the critic one for me looks like a generic one that kind of like, I think what 7-Bit's saying and stuff, where it's like, you've seen this from like aging MMOs where it's like, critics still love us and stuff like that. It doesn't stand out to me. I like that they were trying to stick with their player base as the advertisers, and while I still don't think this is the best way, their goal in the end was their video was for it to be about the player base being, using the player base quotes like we talked about the original time. As long as they had that beginning part where it was like, this is what the players said. Now you set that up for like, who's that person? Who's that person? It's like, oh, it must be a player. So I'm fine with it from that aspect. Do I like how they're advertising? Still no, but
yeah, because I read the Reddit thread, and I was looking for players who didn't play the game and see if they're interested, and some of them actually were saying that I did buy the game after seeing like a trailer, but it's like, if I saw this, it's like it'd be really weird. It's like, who is this person? Why should I care? And they also mentioned that these names could have been like just randomly generated by ArenaNet themselves, which I highly doubt they did, but still it's that thought that could remain there, which is interesting.
I mean, if you're gonna be that cynical about it, I mean, you're gonna unfortunately question everything. It's like,
well, like I don't love the trailer, but I don't hate it either. Like,
yeah, I guess I kind of stand that way as well. If I were gonna make like a 30-second spot advertising the trailer, I would kind of like advertise the main story and then like show a whole bunch of cool things like the mounts and of itself and like some fighting and things like that. That's how I would go about it personally, but
and
basically,
I kind of agree with Chad. It seems a bit overblown, the outrage, and it's like, is this all we really have to complain about? Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we're not more on their tails about kind of reward structure and stuff like that. We're kind of complaining about a video, but
I could complain about that if you want. I mean, how much time you got?
Well, Z Croix, I think, makes a good point about how it would have more of an impact if you saw like people talking about it, and that's something that both Final Fantasy and WoW have done in the past when they've done fan videos where they've had people actually talk about why they love the game and what it's meant for them and make it more personal, and that has an impact much more than like random little quotes without like seeing the person or having any context for the quotes. Like, it's the biggest problem with this trailer is none of these things mean anything. It's just, okay, that's a nice thing, whatever,
Actually,
I agree.
Yeah, you do bring up a good point. It was this year's BlizzCon. The opening ceremony had kind of like a what's it called? I guess it was a trailer about different players talking about their experiences in Blizzard games and things like that. That was kind of cool to see. And some of those people were probably devs. Some of them were YouTube personalities. Some of them were probably just regular gamers too as well. But you kind of get that sense of like what games, like what Blizzard games have done for those people, and how much fun and what their experiences were and things like that. So I think excuse me, if I think Guild Wars 2 could do something along those lines. Maybe it wouldn't be suitable for Path of Fire per se, but maybe for Guild Wars 2 as a whole, that'd be really cool. But
yeah, well, like the main thing with so many MMOs is their community, because that's really what separates an MMO from like some of the smaller multiplayer games or even single player games, is the people and the connections and stuff that you build, and like having actual people talking about that makes much more of an impression than just, I don't know, context quotes.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember when we talked about this originally when we were trying to give the feedback, I was like, you know, I love the idea of, like, it was early on, and I know chat said it last time. I think it was like something like, it was sometime during the winter where they were saying like you had to give like the player code or something, where it was like, you know, it was like a little like paragraph that you had to like you set it into a camera and like you could send it in type thing, and they kind of made a video, I think, out of it. You got to see the people, like kind of like what you're saying, Robin, and like it, I don't know, it had more of an impact coming from the player base than just like what even chat's saying. You're just seeing text, like, you know, random forum poster dot, you know, number
just like us.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with anonymity on the internet. It's just random forum poster, number. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's true. Like, who said that? Mofongo actually brings up a point. It's like there's actually like a commercial type of thing. So we haven't seen one since Hot. So.
Well, it seems like they do one for each launch. I mean. I didn't even think there was really one from Hot, but the one that came into my mind of that, like how much have we seen that for the game? Launch one, live action. I'm sure you blocked it out. Like that one.
Yeah.
I actually
that one was so bad. It was so bad.
I mean, it was an artistic, beautiful choice for a game.
Yeah. Like, I get what they were going for, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool artistically, but it didn't make sense for the game itself.
But I don't know. Like I said, in the end, when their goal was to use the advertisers, I think they achieved that with that little like pre-line of these are our players. But overall,
I've got crying dogs. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, overall, I still am not a fan. I think we've talked about this pre-show, during shows, of like the quotes where it's like ... and then they say something else. It's like, well, what's that ... like what? There's more to it. Like,
oh yeah.
So that's always been my gripe about this. But
I would have, you know what? I would have preferred ArenaNet putting out like a tweet or something on their Facebook saying, if you had to describe Path of Fire in one line, what would it be? And then like just take lines from that. That way you wouldn't have the ... Would have been a little better. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's always gonna be the case, you know, that there could always be better cinematics or something coming from a player base, because a lot of times, you know, the player base probably has the time to invest into it to like a insane degree, whereas probably I'm sure that this person probably had to do, or multiple people, I don't know how many people are on the team or if one person only did the video. I'm sure this wasn't like, here, take as much time as you want on, like they were probably like, we need this up and out, and you know.
Like, you've got 20 minutes because you need to do all these other things too.
Mm-hmm. Though I do remember this was throughout the past couple weeks, so it was still in response to the original video. Apparently the dev that originally posted was saying that he was trying to change kind of the mentality of the like marketing team, which, you know, I think is a, you know, good thing, since it just seems like the marketing team so far, as like everybody's saying, we haven't really gotten that many commercials or like things like this. So hopefully like this, you know, fresh blood type thing, they are allowed to change the mentality and maybe try something new, because right now I mean, it ain't really. We don't really have anything. So, but any final thoughts on? Oh, go ahead.
No, no. Well, my final thoughts would be like, it's a step in trying something new. I personally I could see how it could work, but I just see some elements that just don't work for me, and obviously for a lot of people. But I would suggest taking a slightly different approach to it if you're going to incorporate fans. That's all.
Yeah. More iteration is needed. Is basically my final thought on it. Keep working.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, like we said, all this like feedback came from the forums. Well, it looks like they are looking more towards the forums. So ArenaNet wants to kind of do an AMA chat thing, starting it back up as on a bi-weekly basis. And basically what they want to do is an individual dev or team of devs will join the forums for a few hours to engage with all the players in real time on topics you care about. You can create a thread to ask a question, give feedback, express a concern, or share share what you liked or anything like that. You can also join existing threads to share your thoughts on the topic at hand. But so basically, it sounds like they're kind of trying to take the AMA from the Reddit subgroup and implement it into the forums.
Well, it seems like the Reddit one is for like large living story patches, right? Whereas this one will be more of a more frequent thing that you get more feedback from, which I think is a good idea. And hopefully they have at least one person from Raids, one person from Fractals, one person from Living World, one person from PvP, and one more person from Overwatch World. Like, I think like those 5, that I need at least one person so that when those questions come up, because those are the major things that that will probably pop up in those forum chats.
Can't wait to see that WvW World AMA on their forums.
Mm.
Boy, that they're gonna need some people there standing on guard, ready to like.
Yeah.
Might need 2. I think it's a good idea having, because I think the whole thing about communication was a big problem from last year. Just being too tight. I understand why they did it, because they try to be very open, but they were too open, and so they stayed tight-lipped about things until they were ready. But you need to have some sort of dialogue with us and the players in order to promote some sort of trust, as it were.
Even if it's just like a general roadmap of this is where we're trying to head towards, this is what we're looking at doing, like, maybe not specific, but like more general, to just give people an idea of what's on the horizon.
But on that caveat, can I say player base? Well, if they try to do that again, because they've tried to do that, do not take it as gospel. Things can change. It's a development process. I just think back to, what was it, Collins, like looking forward, and they're like, we want to do precursor crafting. They're like, they're gonna do, and they're like, yeah, we really want to try, and it's like, oh, we had to push it back because they, it just didn't feel right, and then like it really got pushed back all the way to hot. But it was like, they lied to us. It's like, no, he was just kind of throwing out, early development, like, so there needs to be good people on both sides here. So
that's actually really important. Don't scare them away.
Right. Like if you want more communication, when they give you communication, don't throw spears at them.
Yeah, they're gonna, like, you're probably gonna hear things you like, things that you don't like. You have to take it all in stride and think about, how you could come up with suggestions to make things better if there's something you don't like. I mean,
constructive criticism. Yay.
Yeah, just saying like, this is garbage, I hate this, why are you doing this? It's not helpful, because yeah, you could say that, but you can also say that in a better way, and you can add on to the conversation in order to make it better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're changing maybe rewards or something. How's this going to affect the economy or something? Not go, dead game. Like,
yeah.
Why you hate us, ArenaNet? And like, that's... Trust me, last time that someone gave me money, I didn't hate them. I mean...
Yeah. But...
Activate Flame Shield.
Oh, yeah, every 2 weeks. That's the interesting bit. I don't know how I'm gonna wait and see how they're gonna do this, because it starts in February, but it's gonna be interesting how it's gonna be done, how it's gonna be moderated, and things like that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting how tight they are on what questions they choose to answer, because like, you can ask anything, but they're not going to answer every single question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
chat's saying, they had the tweet yesterday saying they were going on, break for holiday, of course. One of the first replies was, the challenge mode in the new raid is bugged. It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm sure they're aware of it, guys. It's like, they're not going to go look at that tweet and go, oh, this is the first time I heard about this. Like, I'm sure they also have their own guilds, maybe playing that content or listening to the player, but like,
nope.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also like, bugs that are easy to fix get fixed quickly, but oftentimes bugs are not a simple thing. They're usually like involved in other things, and making a change will affect other things or whatever. There's a lot that can happen with an MMO that just simply fixing a bug isn't just pressing a button.
Yeah, I honestly wish that was it, because then my life would be so much easier as a developer.
Yeah, easy.
Oh man. But yeah, it's pretty much an ask me almost any. Usually AMAs are almost ask me almost anything, but I think it's a step in the right direction. We'll see how the first one goes. I'm probably just gonna sit back and observe and see what happens. But yeah.
The other thing I'm curious about is like, if we'll know the topic in advance, or if it just show up one day and be like, all right, we're doing an AMA now about blah, because one of my issues with because right now with well, but like, I wonder how many people on what teams that they're going to have.
Yeah.
Like, it would work better if they're like, today we'll do one about world versus world or whatever. That would give some more focus, and like, you could probably get better questions answered, because you can make sure you have all the people that we need for the topic to do it. Their current ones, my biggest issue is that they do a big one with the patch, but it's always on the day of the patch, so everybody's just seeing it for the first time, so they like, nobody really knows what to even ask at that point. So
yeah, it's like, when do they usually do the AMA? It's like 2 hours after, so if you're there at that clock, like at the drop of it, you might, you probably will get through it if you're as soon as it happens. But like, I know a lot of people in the US are, if you're on a standard 9 to 5, you're probably at work during that, so you don't know what they're talking about in the AMA. Like, oh, well, this thing was cool. It's like, well, what was that thing? I don't know the thing. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I'm, saying, in the US, I know, European people, that probably fits in a good time slot for you. It's just, but
yeah, ideally, I'd like them to do like at the beginning of the week and say, all right, on Friday, we're going to do an AMA on whatever topic. So you give people a chance to like think about it, and what you can get some really good and interesting questions that way. You give people like some time to think about it.
I would like to go back, because they did have that one where it was one of those, and then I think they had like either an outage or some kind of issue or something where they couldn't have the devs there, and they were like, well, we're going to do it the following Friday.
Yeah.
And like I'd like to go back and see the quality of the questions, because I even think people were asking like, oh, could you do it like this more often? And I think Gail responded and said like, oh, we'll take into consideration all that stuff. So unfortunately nothing has of yet happened with that, but yeah, I'd like to see like the quality of questions, if it was the same or. But yeah, I like that a lot better. I remember we talked about it. I was like, I'm so glad they made it like, you know, a couple days after, because it allowed pretty much everybody that wanted to do it play it. But yeah, that is a good point of like, especially for this topic of, you know, hey, we're gonna talk about World v World like that day. It's like, I don't have any World v World questions. Tell me about PvP. Well, I can't tell you. I'm a World v World dev. Like,
right.
You're gonna have a lot of times in the, like, you see sometimes in like Twitch chats or something where, you know, people like they're maybe talking like on guild chat. I've seen it all the time where it's like, we're talking about story, fix guild, like give me guild versus guild. Well, they're not the people that are doing it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Like, so. I mean, in that scenario, once again, that's ahead of time. You know, the guild chat's going to be about the story. If they don't do that here, I mean, while it might sound like a troll, I mean, if they weren't ready ahead of time, it's kind of...
Yeah, you can't really blame people. Like, that's the question they came with. They didn't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty prepped for World v World. Like, probably have that thing methodically planned out, I would hope. Like, for an AMA on that one. But
yeah, we shall see.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the ArenaNet Forums AMA style?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sure that they're fully ready for everyone for all the topics.
Yeah.
But talking about World v World, it's kind of a news update. Not. I feel bad.
Sorry, Red Chat.
World v World Re-Linkings for December 22nd, 2017.
News.
Yeah. It's World v World news. That's the positive, right? So you can see here the linkings for EU, Baruch Bay, and then Far Shiver Peaks and Ruins of Sirmia. Those two are a team. Gandara and Fissure of Woe are a team. Desolation and Whiteside Ridge are a team. Vabi and Blacktide are a team. Pike and Square and Ring of Fire are a team. Seafarer's Rest and Aurora Glade are a team. Underworld and Ganar's Hold are a team. Riverside is on its own. Kodash is on its own. Alona's Reach is on its own. Drakkar Lake and Dizagnar are a team. Abaddon's Mouth and Miller's Sound are a team. Jade Sea and Arbor Stone are a team. Argy Rock, Vizuna Square, and Fort Rannoch are also one team. And for the NA side, you got Yaxben and Anvil Rock are one team. Fort Asplewood and Ferguson's Crossing are a team. Maguma and Devona's Reach or Devona's Rest are a team. Storm Bluff Isle and Gate of Madness are one team. Northern Shiver Peaks and Sorrow's Furnace are one team. Tarnished Coast and Emery Bay are together. Sea of Sorrow and Boreless Pass are together. Crystal Desert and Dark Haven are a team. Henjenden Ravi, Sanctum of Ra, and Eridan Terrace are one team. Dragonbrand, Caning, and Isle of Janthier are one team. And Jade Quarry are by themselves, and so is Blackgate are by themselves.
Yay! Jade Quarry and Blackgate can go play in the corner.
I was about to say on the internet they can go play with themselves, but that could be taken.
I almost said that, but I changed it. That's why I changed it.
Okay.
Nice. I'm actually on Underworld now, so for to play World with Teapot every now and then.
Oh, cool.
So that should be fun. And I'll probably, that's my EU account. My NA account I'll probably transfer over when I raid with them, I won't probably not be able to go back on Blackgate, so I'll go to like Crystal Desert or something. Have fun there.
Or Yaxben. I mean.
Or Yaxben, yeah. Do you World versus
even
World?
Consider it, huh?
Do World versus World?
Is there?
Used to.
Is that still a thing?
Well,
That's something I keep meaning to get back into because I do miss doing World versus World. I had
I'd
a lot
like to
of
do a
fun
World
with
vs.
it.
World group.
Yeah.
There we go.
We
We'll
can
add
do
that to
that.
the E topic. Winners Day wish list. More World vs. World.
All right, I'll transfer back to X-Men then. There we go.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Do something.
Did you say for you? Don't make it sound like a favor. I mean,
Oh,
I need
it's
all the help I
pretty
can
much a
get, but
favor.
don't make it sound like that.
Age will carry us. Yay!
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, I mean, not much about linkings. They're just rebalancing things based on stats they have. So not much to say, to be honest. I mean, there really isn't much to say about relinkings except for they're just balancing based on people who come into the game. So I think Path of Fire actually, had a little bit to do with that. But unless something significant happens in World versus World that makes a lot of people come in or something, it's just like these are new bounces. That's have fun.
Yeah, that does sound like the sad truth, what chat's saying. Basically, the meta is to tank your score out of tier 1 so you can avoid Blackgate and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see a different thing. Like, I mean, we talk about this every time. I'd like to see a different thing than based on servers. Like,
yeah, it's really you're gonna get into the World vs. World discussion, but whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's going down a far rabbit hole once again.
Yeah,
I'll have to
I'll
save
just
that
say,
for the devs AMA in World v World on the forums.
Yeah, I'll just say that it's been a long time in terms of deciding how to make the future World versus World outside of the rewards, but it's apparently really hard because it's taken them years to actually figure out what to do. So maybe you'll see something this year.
I would hope so, especially if we're getting AMAs in different areas. Hopefully, World v World, like we were talking about, But yeah, I mean, any more thoughts on the relinkings? I mean, there's not much to.
Yay.
Yay, verily.
Yay, that age might eventually come and carry me through World v World, apparently. Yay.
Yay.
It's not hard. I mean.
Oh,
I'll make it more difficult for you.
It's
age, they're on me. Get them off. Get them off.
help.
Oh boy.
And as soon as you attack them, I'll stand there and go, yeah, you messed with the wrong group, even though it's just one person attacking. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, we could always, if you do eventually come to the Axe Ben and we do that, we could probably stream it. Some people might not be streaming as often as others on Guild Wars 2 nowadays. Speaking of which, this apparently hit the Guild Wars 2 forums, and I don't know if it hit Reddit, but I don't have the clip here, but we will link it. We can throw it in chat if you do want to watch it. It's a Twitch clip, but we'll also, if you're watching this on YouTube, have it there, just because usually we have the videos without the sound. Without the sound, it's just someone uninstalling Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
So it's not as,
not
interesting.
As exciting.
But
if you don't know who it is, it's not as exciting, I guess.
Well, but I mean, you're not seeing anything visually interesting in the sense but yeah, the top tier engineer PvP player Chaith uninstalled Guild Wars 2 on his stream this week, and like I said, it's literally a clip of it showing that. That's why I'm just saying.
My question is, hasn't he quit before? I feel like we've done this before with him for some reason.
He took a break.
Okay.
After what's it called? After Pro Leagues, and then he kind of came back and started playing again a little bit before Path of Fire, and then he, I guess, it seems like he. Oh, for those who don't know, basically Chaith is one of the original members of the Abjured, which is like a top tier PvP team in NA, or like they used to be. I honestly don't know if they're still around,
Well, I mean, it's been so long since there's been a real tournament, so.
Yeah, so, you know, he gets like a ton of views and stuff like that, but he recently uninstalled this week. And so it sparked a discussion on the forums about him and other top GW2 streamers not playing anymore. And I would have loved to read that, but apparently the discussion got derailed, and so the thread was closed. So that made me sad. So
yeah, I would have loved to hear some of the points that people were bringing up, and even maybe some of the negative ones to help, hopefully, refute it. Like, but. Or, you know, even the positive one. Like, but yeah, unfortunately, by the time I think any of us got to it, I think it only lasted for like 2 hours, maybe. Like,
yeah, but it does bring up an interesting discussion, because it's just for PvP players, and this is like kind of a problem I have. It's just that if you don't have a team, you don't play in automated tournaments. So. Or I guess you could play in automated tournaments and you just, you know, join a team or something. But I prefer like soloing in ranked, but it doesn't feel competitive anymore. To me, at least. I don't know about other people, and I guess other people feel that way as well. But
well, like when they were doing the regular tournaments, like I was never one of those people who tune in and watch weekly or however often they did it. But when they did the big tournaments, I always enjoyed watching them. They were great, really great and exciting, and they were putting a lot of effort into building it into an esport, and they were gaining some traction, and it was actually going somewhere. So it also built up a lot of excitement for the game itself too, which you know, it all fed into the thing. Like, putting money into esports gets more attention and more people playing too. So it's another way to advertise, and it's just frustrating that they seem to have pulled back completely on that.
Yeah, because it made me think about when people were saying about when we were talking about the marketing thing and people were bringing it up, I was like, wasn't there a time where they kind of used the marketing budget for the tournament? Like, so it made me think of that, but I just didn't bring it up because it didn't really, seem that important. But
it's kind of made sense at the time, because like esports is like a kind of like a big thing going on like right now. It's kind of like you guys see a whole bunch of things coming out, with like Overwatch League, League of Legends still doing strong. You got Dota, Smite, a whole bunch of other things as well. So it's a kind of, if they could have gotten into it, it would have been great. But apparently, like, going fully into it wasn't their plan. So
yeah.
And I think what something that came to my mind when I was found this out, and it kind of relates back to what they want to do with the AMA thing. They had, like I said, I didn't get to see it, so I don't know how many positive remarks there were. Like, I've just heard there were a lot, then got derailed. I really wish they were able to. Basically, my question is, why couldn't they just have deleted or removed the negative ones and kept these these positive constructive criticism remarks in? Whereas in the past, like, I tried to think back, like, have we ever had that where they've removed just a line in it, or they've just closed the whole post?
Every time a thread derails, they just close it. Every time.
Yeah.
I cannot recall a single instance that
it makes me wonder if they have the capability to just remove the posts or not, or if it's just a general policy that if a thread gets out of hand, just close it for whatever reason. Because I mean, it does, once a thread is gone, like, off the rails, it does take a fair amount of time and effort to get it back and be constructive. It's not just like, you delete those posts and then everything will be fine, because then you've got to now watch it like constantly to make sure that it doesn't start to go off the rails again. So it's possible that for whatever reason, the people who make the decisions decided that, having to watch big threads like that is not a good use of their community people's time. and it's just better to close it, which I can understand coming to that conclusion as much as I disagree with it, you know?
And you, I mean, you raise a good point until, like, I heard them talk about they want to do an AMA, like the AMA thing they're going to do, which is a big, like, are there literally going to be no topics to talk about? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of jerks and idiots that are going to try to, you know, go in there and derail it however they did here or something. But I mean, if I hope they have the capability and they just haven't used it yet, especially since they went and got these new new forms. I don't know if that's a new well, I think it's a new backend because I think they talked about it before. So I hope they have that ability. I'm not 100% sure though.
Again, it depends on the format, how they do it too. They could just open up a forum and say, like, ask your question, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll have another thread that has responses or something like that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I think in that AMA post thing, they said that they were like, you could open up one or, in that set amount of time, open up one or add on to another one. But it's like, if I was the one that had the question and then some other people within 2 hours, like, do I need to be hounding the thing? I mean, am I not able to go back and look at it later? Or
I feel like they should have I personally would have like a customized forum thread where you could only like post your question once or like post one thing. Because they're going to have a flood of things, so I would say like one question max, or like have 3 questions in one post. Just you're basically allowed to have one post, and then you just post that up. I know for like Reddit, I think it's generally you have one post and you have 3 questions, and any subsequent posts get deleted. Something like that, something general like that would be kind of helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious, like with this and then them talking about the AMA thing, that was a little made me a little bit worried about. But yeah, I kind of agree with Chad. Like they have to be able to take control of the topics, like because there are those people that play that game where it's like that's the game to them, where it's like, can I get everything closed down? Like
In terms of that stuff coming for PvP, like the 2v2 and the 15v15, that's stuff they're looking into. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have people are gonna have questions about that because a lot of people like GVG. A lot of people apparently like 2v2s. So those things will probably come up. So we'll see what plans they have.
Well, it sounds like a lot of people's wishes are gonna be they're gonna try to answer those in the AMA.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
I saw it. Don't worry.
Speaking of wishes and wish lists, this past week, a WvW player on the subreddit made kind of a wish list. And also, there's been other people that talked about guild permission enhancements. But I mean, we could talk about those for a little bit. But while we talk about those, I'd love to also hear chats, and I guess we could start thinking of some. But what's your guys' wish list for 2018? But I saw the WvW wish list of they would just like an announcement of an impending feature regarding WvW in the coming year. That's a good start.
That feels so sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, I want something for World versus World.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so painful.
They said server play assessment with an open AMA feature. The devs who directly impact both Balance and WvW. That'd be nice. A new map. It says with community involvement at the front end of development to ensure that the product matches the interest. I just am worried. Well, I guess we have one more area we could, so it would be one of each for. But
if you basically just make another terrain type, but it's like Alpine, and people will be happy. There you go.
Finding a new way of assessing which server matchups for the linking process in order to ensure fair play by population. So, skill scaling. Find a way to scale damage healing by the number of enemies present. I don't know if that's the one thing. I don't know if that's the similar thing that I was like hoping for. Like, well, we'll kind of get to that, but put tank tops in the game, which is highly valuable for my character immersion. Okay, I think he's straying a little bit away from World v. World. In-game buffs when guilds work together, forming an alliance. Yeah, I would like to see an alliance system. I mean,
yeah.
An in-game calendar option for scheduling guild events. Yeah, I would love to see that.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be actually cool.
In-game voice options supported by ArenaNet. If you hand this off to a partner, it would help tremendously.
Does he mean like voice communication? Like,
yeah, I don't.
Like Discord built in, essentially.
Oh, those never work.
Actually, the one finally, many years later, Blizzard's one actually works pretty well now. We had to use it the other night because Discord was on the fritz, so we used it for raiding.
The Blizzard app, or
the Blizzard launcher, it's integrated into it now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think they've gotten better over the years, but yeah, it's just that for me, that one's probably far on the back burner of.
It's one of those things
the
that if you do it, you have to do it very well, because if it's not like great, nobody's going to use it.
Yeah. Deep, long and strong look into condition damage modifiers and streamlining this in World based on being affected by armor. I mean,
yeah, they start
general damage balance. Yeah, I'm never gonna like. I hope. Yeah, I think that would be an awesome thing. But let's see what some of the things in chat were.
Overall, to the guild system, new guild content.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's what I want to see more than anything.
Missions.
New guild stuff, like new guild missions, bounties, all of that.
I've been asking for Llama Rush for like 3 years now. Please.
A Llama Rush would be amazing.
There you go, ArenaNet. Flip on the switch that opens up Llama Rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy button.
My Corgi Mini. I still want my Corgi Mini.
There you go. So just
that'll be right there with that tank top.
Or a Corgi finisher. I would take a Corgi finisher too. That would be amazing.
God help us.
I mean, just imagine it. Like, you finish somebody off and you got this cute little Corgi dancing on you. It'd be great. Especially if they put like some of the 8-bit music in it or something. It'd be amazing.
Oh boy. Chat's also saying they would suggest they make the collection storage stack infinitely. While I would love that, or you can buy as many tabs as you want, I'm sure that's like a limitation on like the server side thing and
all the bits.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I would love that.
Expand or modify guild mission structures. New mission types, new locations, bounty races, or scenarios, and other, and new existing maps, more rewards for guild participation. Concerning the new locations and bounties, I honestly thought Path of Fire would have guild missions where they would include bounties, which would have been fantastic.
Yep. It's funny that they put bounties into it, but they're not guild bounties at all. Like, I wouldn't want all of them to be guild bounties, but I feel like some of them maybe could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would have really liked it if they could have just spawned a, you just spawn a bounty. You don't have to depend on the board. Your guild hall kind of has a board, and you spawn them.
That would have been cool.
Or they have like different bounties that are separate from the bounties in POF. That would have been really cool as well. Yeah.
So, I mean, what things would you guys want to see? Like,
In terms of PvP, I really want a more competitive aspect where there's a reward not everyone could get. I know that sounds weird for Guild Wars 2, but like it sparks some sort of competitiveness in terms of trying to get something. And
wait, you're trying to say I can't get it by just losing all the time?
yes, yes,
That's a perfect record of some sort.
You could.
But that's kind of one of the problems. Like you get rewarded better for playing a lot better, but like for example, in Overwatch, if you are a really good player, you can get a golden gun in 1 or 2 seasons. If you are if you're like a silverish player, bronze player, it will take you up to like now. I've been silver and gold most of the time, and I still don't have enough for a golden weapon. I don't mostly play Overwatch competitive, but still, like you have to actually put in a lot more effort than someone who's higher up would.
Mm-hmm.
And the PvP back piece kind of incentivizes players into actually going in to get that back piece early to get it. But now, and there was a limitation. At first, there was like a limitation, like 4 seasons. You have 4 seasons to get this, but now they just extend it to whenever you actually finish.
It might just take you a really long time to do it, but you can still do it.
Yeah. So it kind of decentralizes in terms of that, but if they made it so that if it takes a little bit longer for people to play, like it takes players like who are in silver to get, 8 seasons versus a really legendary player like 2 seasons, and that would make sense.
I was gonna say, and I think like Chad's bringing up a good point, and I think that's why this is the biggest problem is of they're saying like gold trims like in Guild Wars 1, like you could have, if you were a top PvP player, you could get a gold trim on your guild cape. And I think that's where it stems from, is everybody always talks about the skins as a reward. Well, that's always a blank spot in someone's collection. So it's like, I can't get that because I'm not, good enough or whatever. It feels bad. Whereas a cape, it never had, you didn't have, like, it wasn't a like collectible thing really. It's like it wasn't a skin it was like, oh, I get more access to, once again, gold trim or something like that. So
yeah, it's like an extra die channel essentially or something.
Yeah, it's like I'd like to see. There you go. If you're a top PvP player, you get that 4th die channel in your legendary armor.
Like, so like, how about infusions then? Like specialized infusions.
Yeah.
That would work a little better.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not something that I was just gonna say, because I think they were trying to attempt that with the monthly tournament where you could get like that little aura thing, which some of them, like I was like, yeah, okay, but I kind of like how you're saying like it's a special maybe infusion or something.
Yeah. For World versus World, I just want some kind of event to happen.
Something.
So, I'm not saying like a turn. Well, I have ideas for tournaments. I have to, but there's always some limitation in that. So I would say like some sort of event that happens on like the first week of relinking. That could be a lot of fun. Just something different that kind of keeps the spirit of World versus World, but kind of makes it new, engaging, and fresh. Something like that. And I would honestly like for the events like Winter's Day and Halloween to have a bit more presence in World vs. World.
Yeah.
Just to liven things up a little bit.
You want more presence in Winter's Day? You already have 3 stacks.
Events in World, yeah, I know. They can't happen until they fix all the other problems, but it's taking them way too long.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, essentially, yes, fix all the things, and there's a ton of exploits and stuff like that. Essentially fix those first, but and then put in the events afterwards. But I'm hoping that they could do it within the year, because it's been a while since anything really significant other than the rewards being reworked happened in World versus World.
Yeah.
And I know it's the server issue already, but I'm still going to say this every time. My wish list for World v. World, because it still feels not as great as some other games that do like a World vs. World thing, where your AoEs only attack 5 people, even though like 100 people can stand in it. Like I said before, and I know they say with the whole number thing, it will mess up the server thing. And I know, and I for some reason gravitated towards Elder Scrolls Online Cyrodiil, which, to be fair, a lot of people tend to say, oh, no one goes into it because there's always server issues. That might be the reason. That, like, I don't know, they're different engines, but that could also play into the factor of they basically do it like the first 10 people take full damage, then 11 to 15 take 75% damage, and so it scales out. But I don't know, when I throw down a skill, like it will actually push back a line, like you actually feel like you're achieving something just as a one person, like. So I don't know, that's why I prefer it over Guild Wars 2's World v. World, but like I said, I know that that's a server issue, so hopefully somehow they figure out the server issue. But
okay. Yeah, that would be. Yeah. I do kind of like that idea. And for, I don't know, for everything else, it seems okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for raids, I think they're okay. I know a lot of people ask for story mode, but that's a lot. I don't think it needs it, but that's my opinion. So I know there's a lot of varying opinions about that. So fractals, apparently they're going to be more of on a schedule type of thing, which is good. For living story, I think the only thing I would say is just there are a few tidbits in story I have a problem with that we talked about them last time, but if you can keep to near the same quality as Path of Fire story, and that'd be good in my book. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the thing that from the person on the forums that talked about the guild permission thing, it's a lot of things that I've seen people talk about over and over. Separate the permissions for all 3 parts of the guild: bank, stash, treasure trove, deep cave. Moving consumables like the siege items into a war chest or stuff like that. Separate, spike out the permissions for use of the elements in guild storage. So yeah, just better, like, and I don't think I see it here, but kind of break up I mean, I guess they kind of said a little bit, separate the permissions, but just in general, separate the permissions out, because a lot of it's like all or nothing, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see some more guild functionality, and like we talked about earlier with guild missions, a little bit more support for that, or.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like, I really would love to see them do more with World versus World and make some meaningful changes that it needs. But I really feel like guilds at this point have been kind of in a stall, and like, if you're a new guild and stuff, you might have a reason to do guild missions, but for guilds that have been around for a long time, there's not a whole lot of a reason to do them, and those guilds have already done the current ones a billion times, so there's not even much reason to do it for the experience of doing it. So really would like to see them give more for guilds to do as a guild together.
Yeah, quite literally the only reason to have a guild is for raids or fractals if you want to group up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't see much incentive otherwise. At least for veteran players.
Yeah, and for me personally, I just think that I forget what I was gonna say. What the heck were we talking about? Sorry,
What
update
we
popped
want
on my
in the
computer.
game.
I want. Actually, I agree with Chad. I want the ability to sit on chairs. That's actually
That would
cool.
be nice. Yeah.
Oh, like I think one of their biggest concerns is, not everybody had Heart of Thorns. Like not everybody might have POF, but like maybe if you go to the guild hall, be like, hey, do you want to run a core mission? Do you want to run a core or a hot mission? Do you want to run a POF like
Yeah.
let the guilds decide, and then it's like
Yeah.
So I really feel like there shouldn't be that excuse or something. Like I don't think they ever said it, but I felt like that was always the concern because if someone goes, it's like I don't have that, I can't be part of it. Like, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I at least 5 people will have like the expansion if they're in a guild, a sizable guild, or if they're doing bounties. I guess the only hard thing I think would be bounties, because if you have a guild of 5 people and one person has the expansion, they can't, and the expansion's in the.
Well, I think that's why they should be allowed to select it. Like it's going to be in this area. So don't click it if you don't have that area. First off, like
yeah, it would be more like give a list of bounties. There'd be like 5 from core, 3 from hot, like 2 from Path of Fire type of deal, and then you could choose whichever you want.
Yeah, I could see them doing that more likely, but
okay. Well, I mean, you know what I think is more likely? Them putting more stuff in the gem store.
oh jeez.
And always thank you to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. So first up, we have the Winter Monarch outfit for 700 gems. It is an outfit, so it is all or nothing. You can't hide the head slot, but you can kind of see the dye channels there and what it looks like on all the races.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you guys go first.
I mean, it's cool, but I'm not gonna get it.
I'll say it's an outfit.
Yep, pretty much. Hey, it's another one of look at my chest as a man.
Yeah, it's definitely all or nothing. Definitely leaning towards the nothing for me. It's definitely not my taste. I'm sure people out there love it, but
there's like that druidish aspect to it, which I kind of like.
But it's not like, I don't know, it's like small nods to druidy stuff without like, being really druidy.
It gives off, it really does give off like that fantasy vibe, like medieval fantasy vibe. Like what's like Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe kind of vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like druidy, but also what are they? Satyr's? Satyrs?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
kind of with the horns type thing going on.
Because some of the horns look like ram horns, and then some of the horns look completely different, and I'm like confused why they don't have all the same horns. It's weird.
Yeah.
And like chat saying they wish they could have those just on a char itself, but like, yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm personally, for me, not feeling the outfit. I mean, I'm sure people out there love it. If you do, cool, let us know. Tell us what you like about it. But it being all or nothing, like, I could see like maybe liking the gloves or something, but once again, it's an outfit. Can't do that.
Yep.
But another new item was the glacial glider, as you can see here, for 500 gems. It basically, cool, yeah, it kind of looks like the Black Lion chest skins that we got last week, like kind of the like icy ones. Like it kind of really goes well with that. Like, yeah, I think it looks, yeah, and I think if you actually listen to it If you look at Dolphy's video, like you can actually hear like the ice crackle, like
Oh, nice.
like it's so cold type thing. Like it,
Mhm.
they did a really nice job on it, I think. But is anybody out there? Has anybody picked it up, or are you going to pick it up?
I might. I don't know. It's a really cool glider. Go with my Necro. My Necro has the black wings right now. I'll consider it.
Yeah. You're muted.
Damn it. It's cool, but like I have a lot of gliders as is, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really hitting that point where I'm like, I just don't really see it going on any of my characters that much. I like it, but
Ozzy kind of brings an interesting point. Like, do you feel like there's a whole bunch of outfits and armor sets in the gem store?
Yeah, I think that's part of why I'm like, whatever on a lot of it, because yeah, there's so much, and I'm like,
I just don't. I only buy an outfit if I really like the outfit as a whole, because I just because if I'm going to buy an outfit and I want to use it, I'm going to use all of it. But if it comes to, like, for example, Path of Fire, I use parts of the armor sets that are in there to make a new outfit. So, you know, like a new overall look, I should say. Sorry. And that's what I kind of want out of these outfits that could potentially be armor sets, because if there are like pieces, like 2 pieces of the 6 that I really like, then I'm like, I can actually use it. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy an outfit so I can get those pieces so I can change my overall look for a character.
well, I think the other thing, outfits, the way they've been doing them, work really well, for them, but it works really well for people who feel like they always need like what the newest thing is. Like, that's the only way I can keep getting exciting about them, because again, I run into the problem that I only have so many characters and there's only so many outfits, and I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I have, I think, like 10 outfits around that. And so I don't use all of them often, but, you know, every now and then I'll put one on. Like, for example, key farming and things like that. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of agree with Age of, like he said before, was he really only picks the ones that he thinks are really cool. It's either, for me, really cool that I know I would use on a character, or it has possibly some kind of nostalgia sake. Like, I think I got the monk outfit. I probably only use that. Yeah, I probably only use that when I'm on, like, doing a key form, like chat's saying. Like, but for some reason I was like, I can't miss that. Like, and that doesn't work on every nostalgia sake thing though. So ArenaNet, don't try. Please don't try.
I didn't buy the Mesmer
one.
I didn't buy the Mesmer one, but I didn't play Mesmer at all. So
yeah,
back in Guild Wars. So,
but yeah. So you can you can buy those separately, or you can get the Winter's Day appearance package, which is 2,000 gems, which includes the glider and also the outfit in case you forgot what it looked like. And it also includes a total makeover kit, an immortal weapon chest choice, and 5 winter chimes die kits, which once again, those are, you have a chance at getting a rare one.
Yep, you don't get to pick.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah.
So at least they still are sticking to that a la carte option and have the incentive if you do get the package. That way, you can get the immortal weapon choice. Since I think that's the only way you can get them through some of these bundles. But some instances they should have made outfits or at least special armor sets like collectible cards. Once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah, but I mean, I think always the problem with that is then someone comes late to the game. I mean, if there's once again, it's that empty slot on your thing that's like
rare returns would be cool.
Yeah,
like they did that for like the bunny ears, right? So And,
yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be fine.
Yeah.
That's what makes the wow factor. Yeah, that's true.
But I think in the end that's the problem. Is it's like, oh, that's the wow factor. It's like, how'd you get that? Oh, you just paid for it. Like, it's not like, oh, I did this raid or this event that you can't do anymore. It's like, oh, that would have been so cool. Like, I need to stay here but yeah, that's always like the downside. It's like, oh, you just had to pay for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let us move on to the community corner. This week, we talked about it the last couple weeks. Guild Wars 2 Efficiency Advent Calendar is still going on. Basically their lottery page, and we'll throw the link in chat here in case. And if you are watching on YouTube, once again, all links are in the description. But yeah, the total prize pool was 9,035 gold prize pool, sponsored by the Guild MM with the fame tag. Everyone can enter. You don't need an API key, which is how you tend to use Guild Wars 2 Efficiency to check your account and stuff. So you do not need that, so you don't have to worry about feeling like they somehow have your account. Make sure to check back every day. I know it sets with the server resets, so that's, if you're watching this live, about hour and 45 minutes. If you're watching this on Sunday on YouTube, you'll
have the 24th.
Yeah, you'll have the 24th to do it, but if you're watching it right at the time, it'll probably be 6 hours away or so. But yeah, like I said, it's usually 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. their time.
And they do the Pacific big Christmas 25th draw, and you can enter that whenever you want. You just have to enter before they actually draw. So, in case you guys are interested in that. And today's item is decorative molten jetpack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to enter that one. But yeah, so they've had like some big prizes, like, you know, a lot of precursor stuff, some rare blackline chest skins, and they did say it's for both EU and US servers. Winners will get chosen randomly. They will re-roll if you don't answer them via whisper or in-game mail within 72 hours of winning, or you're just not in that holiday spirit, aka you're a bit of a jerk to them. So, I mean, you're getting awesome prizes. You know, don't be rude to them.
I don't know why you would be rude if you won a thing anyway, like, seriously.
I don't know. Especially an in-game thing. I mean, I've always had friends in the past where we'd always say they're the type of person that would be like, I just won, like, the lottery. I won, like, $70 million. But like, yeah, but I'm going to have to pay taxes on that. Be like, you just won But, you know, I don't think the government is taking taxes off of a decorative jetpack in-game.
Yeah, anyway.
But, yeah, so that was that community corner. That is it for this week. And Age, where can they find you?
Twitch and YouTube at Age Night Road. I'm actually going to be streaming raids tonight. I won't have Discord on because there's questionable chat that happens in that one, so I'm just gonna savor everyone from that.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow, but I might. And I'll probably, like, this week is probably the last official streams for the year. Any other streams we'll do will probably be over the holidays. Will be like South Park or Assassin's Creed, because I haven't played those yet and I really want to. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's all.
And Robin, where can they find you?
On Twitter at Arlie82 and on mmrly.com and on mmrpg.com.
Awesome.
Yay.
And you can find me at simply_Dea on Twitch and Twitter. And this past week, I've been actually streaming a lot more. I hope to continue that throughout the following week. I mean, apart from holiday stuff, of course. But best thing to do is follow me on Twitter. I usually tweet out and try to tweet out a little bit beforehand when I'm planning on streaming. But yeah, if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. And I would like to thank this week for the hosts on Twitch, Maple Syrup and Beers, SOTD_podcast, which is the Shadow of the Dragon podcast, That Chevron, Moonkiller NV, Kasky, Sundorai, Jaibu Cole, Garaz Mog. Oh, it just switched when I had one more. Who was it? I think it was Crescent QT. I hope that was the person I missed. Darn you, Twitch, for jumping around. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. We do put this up on YouTube. Just search Talking Skritt. It's usually the first one that pops up at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Sundays. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to make it out to the live show, we usually go up every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Next week, we're probably going to have a recorded episode due to there's probably not going to be that much news, so it's going to be like a little fun event. But we're probably going to ideally stream that on the Friday, so if you want to show up live, feel free to do it on a Friday, and then we'll replay it on the Saturday for you. But as always, we will see you in the game. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Happy holidays.